Summertime high. Summertime high. And good vibes all around. Summertime high. My head's off in the clouds. One with my soul. Oh no, no, don't rock the boat. Out with the load. One with the flow.
Yes, sir. Episode 3. I am the host with the most. No, I'm kidding. I am Protag, and I'm here with.
Taylor James.
We are the Good Vibe Tribe. We are so excited to have y'all once again. We got 3 of them now, man. But ain't that so exciting?
Man, time's just rolling by.
Flying by, man. It's like we put this idea into motion a few weeks ago, and to see all the love and support that we're getting for it, man, it's truly like such like a humbling feeling knowing that like people are listening to it and giving us feedback and everything. But I want to say happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, to the good dads out there that take their kids to school every single day, to take their kids to the park, cook them food at night, just the simple things of what dads do. I don't have kids, but my friend here, he's a father.
Just say happy Father's Day to all the providers.
For
all
sure.
you guys that get up and you strap your work boots on every morning, whether you're feeling like it or not, because you know you got stuff to pay for, you've got responsibilities, and that comes above all. So
For
happy
sure.
Father's Day to you guys.
Yeah, man. I want to start off by asking you, so how was your week?
Man, my week has been great. It's been really good. Spent a bunch of time with the kiddos and just the normal workflow and whatnot. And yesterday, me and Caleb, we got some songs tracked out. We got 4 songs tracked out.
Yeah.
He got the guitar all laid with the metronome and everything, getting the recording process going, and then I got some scratch vocals put down, and I'm really excited with how it's sounding already. And we're gonna get that stuff sent over to Brett, and he's gonna start working up the drums and start piecing it together.
Man, I'm super excited about that. Like, you told me about it, like, you was going out there and saw that you sent a few tracks back to me, man. So I can't even wait to play them, Like, I haven't heard them yet. Like, I kind of want to do, like, a live reaction. And I'm just super excited about it because I know it's something that you've been waiting to do and have these ideas and stuff and actually get it out on Spotify. Speaking of Spotify, I made a release this week. It's finally out. Not Just a Rapper. 10 beats. I'm super excited about it, man. It was like probably like a various range of sounds that I have that I can feel comfortable in different genres. You know what I mean? And I've been loving the feedback that I've been getting off of it, and the songs that I didn't expect to do so well off of it. Like, people were like gravitating to those songs. Like, I've seen it happen so many times. Like that one album, the Love Isn't Real album that I did, like the My Attention song, like, but that was a song that people gravitated to the most. And I'm just like, you know what? Like, I feel like every single time with like a release, like, you don't put too much thought into it, and then I feel like there's like a nonchalant type vibe to that like people are like, man, like, I really like this song. Like, they didn't put too much thought into it or whatnot. But super excited about that. And
You guys be sure to go check it out. It's out on Spotify under Protag.
For sure. And we
Definitely
also got
enjoy it.
Yeah, man, and we also got the podcast out on Spotify. So
Yeah,
if you're
my
watching
brother.
this, yeah, man. So if you're watching this, I'm gonna leave a link down below. If you want to listen to us like going to work, or if you're at work and you're allowed to throw on your headphones, don't tell your boss it was me actually. But man, I remember like I used to work back in the day, and I used to hide my headphones below my beanie, and
It's against the regulations.
it was, man. But I remember like being in those type of moments, and I'm just like, man, I just want to listen to a podcast right now. And it's kind of crazy that like we're doing a podcast now, and it's just
It's awesome for
Yeah,
real.
like you can go back and listen to yourself, and so shout out to all the people that are on Spotify that's checking out the music, and definitely check out the podcast on Spotify for sure. We are proud to announce that we're gonna have our podcast on other platforms too, like Apple Music and other podcast sites too. But
We're just getting across the board on everything. Like Pro's already got several albums out on Spotify and stuff, and I've got tons and tons of music. But when people ask me, they're like, "Where can I check out your music?" I'm like, "Here's a link to YouTube to a song or something." But
yeah.
I'm excited to like finally get my stuff out there legit and be a legit artist across the board. It's something I've really been looking forward to.
For sure, yeah. And this was something that we looked into this week. Like, whenever you put out something on YouTube or Spotify or whatnot, but there's an algorithm, and us having to learn the algorithm and seeing like sometimes you got to cater towards it. Sometimes you got to like actually research it and study it. Like, if this is something that you want to do, like content creation is something that you want to do, you got to learn the algorithm. You know what I mean?
For sure. It's just we live in an age of technology, and you've got to use it as a tool, because the algorithm, it can help push you out to the people, or it can just completely stonewall you. So we have been studying, been spending some time learning the algorithm and stuff, and we've got a good plan for starting to release some music and really push it and see what it can do. So I'm excited about that.
For sure. It's like, now whatever passion you have, there's always something to look deeper into. You know what I mean? Like, especially with like music, like if you want to do music, if you want to record yourself, you're going to have to learn how to mix yourself. You're going to have to learn what mic to plug into what, and like there's always something deeper. And I think for us, it's really enjoyable, because like we do want to have all these things that we want to put out on Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, or whatnot. But to learn actually how to use these things is, I feel like, what's going to make a world of a difference. You know what I mean?
It definitely is, because it's like we are in the age of technology, and we're literally a few keystrokes away from learning whatever we want to learn. So why wouldn't we spend some time learning it? We're going to write the music, do the hard part, put it together, and release it. I want to see it do well. Or I would, at least, even if it doesn't do well, I would like to get honest feedback. And if people aren't seeing it, it's hard to get any honest criticism on it.
For sure. And it's something that I received some attention on Spotify and stuff, and seeing my plays go up. And speaking about this on episode 1, or it was the last episode, I don't remember exactly, I was talking about getting my song My Attention up to 30K streams. Like, I was so excited to reach that milestone. For me, it's like just something that means a lot to me. Like, like I'm that close to 30K. Like, I want to hit it, And then it was actually the next day.
That was last episode, I believe.
Yeah. And it was like the next day, like I just like looked into it, and it was like I'm at probably like 15 plays away from like 31K right now.
I know, it was cool, because like he talked about it on the podcast, and then the next day he got like 1,500 plays
For sure.
overnight. So that's pretty sweet.
It is cool, man, because it's like we put this music out for people to listen to it, to enjoy it, and I'm so ready for you to have some stuff on there and do the same thing,
For sure. I'm looking forward to it. So, why don't you tell them about your little date you went on this week?
So, speaking of my week, I put out the beat tape and stuff, so I was kind of busy with getting some things up and putting out my music on Spotify and stuff like that. But during the week, I went out on this date, and I went to go see Mad Max in the movie theaters. It was actually really good, like I actually enjoyed the movie. She's funny, but this girl that I went out on a date with, like, she came in with a backpack full of candy. Like, she came so prepared. I don't mean to call you out like that, you know what I mean? But it was just a really good, enjoyable experience, and like just to go see a movie. Like, I haven't been out on a date in like actually like a while now, so it was actually cool just to go out there and get freshened up and to look good and to have a cute day tomorrow. It's just
get out on the town and
for sure
enjoy yourself.
So
it's nice to feel wanted from somebody, and just to have that interaction, and just the company from a counterpart. You know what I mean? Have that
sure.
female energy.
Yeah, and like afterwards, like she's like, "Man, that was a very manly movie," and she wanted to go see a scary movie. So I was like, "I don't really do scary movies, and I have my reasonings why and stuff like that." And I'm trying to explain it to her, but I did want to go see Mad Max, and Mad Max was one that I really liked. It kind of reminds me of Dune in a way, and I really like Dune. Like,
Yeah, Doom was cool. It was a cool movie. But yeah, it was it's cool seeing Pro kind of out there mingling or whatever, because this new girl he's talking to, she's really cool, sweet girl. She's really down to earth, and
sure.
like I was kind of talking to him on the sidelines or whatever. It's, you know, she's been putting energy into him. Like she believes in his passion, his dreams, and for me that's like that's a must. You know what I mean?
For
like
sure.
anyone that you're potentially looking at for a partner, like them pushing you and believing you to be your best version, you know, and then vice versa. Like it's not a just all take, you know, it's a take and give, but it is nice to just have somebody that believes in you and comes up with ideas and stuff to help really push you. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, for sure. Like we been talking about ideas for the podcast and things that she would like to see, and I think it's just cool because it's like I finally found somebody that's in for what I'm in for and don't like want to distract me from what my purpose is and putting out music and the beats and stuff like that. And you know, like it's real cool just to find a connection out there with somebody that you can share like an interest with and then want to help you out with it, you know what I mean? So shout out to her for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would give Mad Max probably about an 8 out of 10. Like it wasn't like super great. Like I wasn't just like blown away, but there's a lot of gory moments in it, you know what I mean? It's definitely a movie that is like a manly movie, like she said, you know, just like I remember like one scene in the movie, like I'm not gonna give like anything away like storyline, but they're like ripping this guy's arms off and legs off like connected to a bike, and then they're like riding off and then they fucking snap off their limbs, and I was just like, oh, this is a great movie to go see for the first date, you know what I mean? So I would give Mad Max like an 8 out of 10. And like it was good towards the end and had a good ending to it, so for sure.
That's what's up. I'm glad you guys had a good time. So back to the music. All right, Pro. What would you say truly inspired you to get into the music, and you know how'd that all come about?
Yeah, man. I feel like this is a very exciting story because like music for me has like always been in my path. Speaking of Father's Day, my father was actually a guitarist. So I remember like times when I was like a baby and I was just like laying down on the bed and I would just watch him play the guitar with my mom. Like I would just watch him play. So it's like I feel like it's always been in my blood, you know, like the music side has always been in my blood, like it runs in my family. And then I think around the age like 10 or 11, like I used to write raps. I used to write raps and I used to rap them to my mom. Like I remember that I used to listen to Tupac, and like Tupac was like the one that I wanted to like emulate so bad. So I remember like having this Tupac voice when I was like 10 or 11, you know, and I'm writing these bars for my mom and stuff, and she would like applaud me and be like, I'm so proud of you and stuff like that. So
Little Pro-Pac.
yeah, so my right, yeah. So I would say that my mom is like one person that really got me started into making music. Like I was writing music and writing down lyrics and stuff on my phone, but I never really actually did it. And then on one Christmas, I think it was like when I was like 13 or so, my mom bought me a Pro Tools and a piano, and which is crazy because I don't even record in Pro Tools right now. Like I saw it, but then I had the piano and the mic and stuff, and I actually started recording on this program called Reaper. And me starting off, like I didn't know what I was doing, and it's just like you're learning things more and more. But I would say it's the people that really helped me along the way that actually helped me drive getting into music. Like I want to give a big shout out to Nonzo. I remember like I used to go to high school with my friend Nonzo, and it was about a time when I was recording with Sam too and stuff. But I remember Sam had this group called DOS, and we had this group called it was FCF, Family Comes First. But I think that we were GFC before that, and it was the Get Fresh crew. But yeah, so we had a little group back in the day, and all because of my mom giving me the music program and the mic and stuff like that. That's how I initially started making music. But I've been a fan of music since I was a baby. You know,
Right.
there's clips of me whenever I was a baby and I was singing Toby Keith back in a back seat going across the bridge in Florida and stuff. Like, there's still clips out there somewhere in my family's world or whatnot. And like, I remember like seeing those. Like, I've always been a fan of music, you know, but me actually started doing it myself was probably about 13, you know.
Right.
So what about you, Bubba?
I mean, music's just in my soul, bro. I remember just like stories, you know, growing up. Like my mom would say when I was a little kid, like 2 years old, they had a garage with a pool table and stuff. And she said their friends would come over, they'd be playing pool, and I'd be out in the garage singing like, I think it's George Strait. She said I'd be out there singing like, I don't need your rocking chair.
Mm.
And then I remember my dad telling me I'd always sing, I believe I can fly.
Oh.
And like I remember them requesting that when I was like little, you know, they'd be like, sing that song, and I was super shy, so I would just like clam up and not sing. But I always loved singing, I always loved music. And then my dad, he bought me my first guitar when I was 10, and you know, I messed around with it a little bit. And then my stepdad, rest in peace, no longer here,
Rest in peace, for sure.
he bought me my first really nice guitar. It was, I mean, it was sweet. I remember like we went out looking for guitars, and I wanted a Taylor.
Yeah, of course.
Because obviously,
Right.
you know, my name's Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
And the price tag on it was like $4,500. And he was like, whoa, Bubba, we can't do that one.
Yeah.
So we go over to Chapman's Music, and I found a Larrivee, and I asked them what the price was on it, and they said $2,200. And I was like, phew. I was like, yeah, I'm going to put that one back too. And I went to put it back, and he was like, nah, just get it. And he's like, I just got my tax money in. Mm-hmm. He was like, you've been picking up and stuff. He's like, I want to get you something nice that you can learn on. And he went for it. He spent the money on it, and man, that was such a great time. And that guitar is still with me. I've still got the guitar. I learned on it, and I've traveled all over the U.S. playing it. So it's really, I mean, music's always been a part of life. My mom always had the background noise, you know what I mean? There's always some CCR or some Eagles or Queen or Jane's Addiction. I mean, all over the map. Nirvana, a little bit of everything. For real.
Like I think it was cool. Like the one time that I hung around your mom and she came over here, like she was just playing music the majority of the time, and I'm like, man, this is where Tay got his taste from for sure. You know, like his early years, I could tell.
She's like a jukebox for real. I know that was funny that time she was here because she was just like on the TV. She was like, so I can just look up YouTube? I was like, yeah.
Right.
And she's just playing song after song after song, and we're in here jamming, singing out. It was a good time.
For sure. It was a great time, actually. Yeah, it's like family is the one that influenced us to make music, you know, and I just feel like it's so right for it to be Father's Day, and like how my father was like a guitarist and me seeing that early as a baby, and you know, you getting the guitar from your stepdad, like, and you know, and I just think that that's awesome that, you know, we had the right people in our life to want to push us and influence us to do what we do now. Like there's something very special about that to me, you know.
For sure. That's why, I mean, with Isaiah, like my little boy, he's taken on, you know, a liking to music and stuff, and it's so awesome to watch him because he'll be just pulling stuff out. He'll hop on the piano with me and stuff, be playing. And it wasn't that long ago he came to me with a sheet of music. It was just like music notes all written out and stuff, and he's like, Dad, can you learn how to play this? And he just kind of like looked at posters and stuff that I've got on the wall to create this, and I was like, yeah, I'll see what I can do, because like I don't read music. It's something I've got to learn. But I started looking into the notes and stuff, and ended up like playing something, and I mean, it turned out really cool because it's like, you know, at that time he was 7 years old, and I'm like, how this little dude even come up with this? And like, it's just awesome though, because so, you know, I make sure the kids, they've got all the options, because I mean, I want them to love music, I want them to get involved for sure, but you know, if they don't want to do music, then that's okay too. I'm never gonna push it down their throat or anything.
For sure. Yeah, and I think it's the same thing for us. Like music kind of got passed down to us, like and you're doing the same thing for Isaiah too, you know, like if he wants that opportunity to play music, like he has one of the well, to me, one of the best musicians that I know to learn from. You know what I mean?
I don't know about all that, Bubba.
Well,
I'm learning. I'm learning.
I will be a little biased. I think that Taylor's fucking amazing at music, and everything he writes does is fucking phenomenal, you know, and nobody can tell me any different, you know.
I appreciate it, Bubba.
For sure. And I want to give another shout out. I want to give a shout out to Callum B, man. And I love all the things that he's doing right now, and like the music, and I see the streams that he's getting and stuff. And you know, like I went to school with Callan and been around the same place with Callan, so I just want to give a big shout out to Callum B. And seeing all like the GYB shirts back in the day, like it was very inspiring to me as an artist being in the same town as him. And I just want to give him a shout out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I know I worked with Callum back in the day. I haven't seen him in a while. If you see this, man, I hope you've been doing good. And
for sure.
We got a link soon. Callum. Have you on the podcast or something. And I was always inspired by him too, because you know his motto is the GYB got your back. And
yeah,
everywhere around town back in the day, I'd always see people rocking the shirts and stuff. And I was
for
like,
sure.
Man, this man has he's got the recipe, you know. He's branding, getting his stuff out there, and like he's just continuously been consistent with it. And
right.
That is awesome, because you meet a lot of people in this music game, you know, a lot of people that have a lot of talent, but there's a lot more than just talent that goes into this, because you have to have the drive, you got to have the consistency. It's not just you can sing a song good, you got a great voice, or you know, you're good at picking on the guitar. Like you really got to be the full package if you want to do this
for sure
successfully.
Yeah, and he's one of the first people that I saw like really take it to the next level. And me going over to his studio, I guess it was something that was like a learning lesson for me, like being around different artists. You know, I kind of did music in my bedroom at the time, and going over to Callan's, he invited me over a few times, and just to have that collaboration. And I remember he did a verse for me on one of my mixtapes back in the day, and it was probably one of the best verses I've heard, to be honest with you. Like he used the word pro in every single first bar. Like he's like, I'm a pro, this, that, and third, and I'm just like, man, this man.
Bro, he killed it. When you played me that, I was like, dude, that was nice. Like he did really, really good on that.
For sure. And just want to give all the love and support to people out there that really helped me come up to this music thing and see it for a different light, instead of me just wanting to be in my bedroom and just creating stuff. Like but that's what this show is all about. It's just showing that love and support to people out there, because you know it's really the steps that needed to happen in our lives for us to be the musicians that we are today.
Right, opening up certain parts of us and pushing us in certain areas. And I want to give a shout out to Tin Man for sure. He's I've got a video on YouTube with him called Walking Through the Fire. If you guys haven't checked that out, be sure to go check it out. It's a few years old now, but it was super cool. Like he invited me out to Georgia, and I went out to his house and stayed with him for a few days. We recorded this song, and we recorded the video out there, and it was awesome, because like in his little small hometown, he's like a for real celebrity. I mean, we're going places, and like the barbecue joints paying for our food, or you know, like people are all wanting his autograph and stuff, and I'm like, man, this is cool. And we got to use their jail and their courthouse and everything.
Bro, that's awesome.
Tin's just a really, really good dude, really down to earth, and you guys be sure to check him out. We'll post a link at the bottom. But he started a new series called Backroad Sessions.
Yeah.
And I think he's got 3 of them out now, but it's really good quality, and you guys just have to go check him out. Great dude.
Yeah, for sure, man. Like I just saw the clip like before we started this podcast, and I'm just like, man, it just looks so well put together. And then like I've known about the song that you guys did like a while back, and certain shots that you guys did like in the jail, and I think you did one like playing the guitar in front of the fire or whatnot, and that's just such a sweet shot. You know what I mean?
For sure. Kirk Films, that's who recorded that. He's awesome behind the camera. Really good dude.
For sure. You know, and I think it's such a cool thing, like into creating things, like the writing process. I mean, because whenever we started writing this song called Lost and Crazy, the whole time in our head we're thinking about the music video, we're thinking about scenes, we're thinking about what it's going to look like, or this is going to be the part when this happens. And like I just think that that's such a cool way into writing things, if like you can see it, if you can like imagine it, and you can actually bring it to life a lot easier when you're shooting the music video because you already have that idea in mind. You know what I mean?
Right, you're painting a picture with your words, and it's like you're bringing in an extra sense to the song. It's like even if somebody just hears it without a video, they're like they can see it in their mind, and
Yeah.
there's something really special about that for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And I really love that song too. Like,
Man, I was
the
about to
whole-
say I hadn't even thought about that song in a while.
Yeah.
That's one we'll have to introduce them to at some point for sure.
For sure. Yeah, and it's just like so crazy how music works. Like, I don't want to say exactly like who it was that was like, man, this song's about my life. It's just like it's so crazy that like we make songs and we don't have a specific person in mind, and then like with a song like Lost and Crazy, it's like a story type song, and somebody that Taylor knows like actually lived what was inside of the story or whatnot. And I'm just like, man, that's just so awesome about music, is that somebody can like super relate to it. Like, no, there's no way around it. Like, this song's about me. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I mean that was pretty ironic because there's just some key parts of the song. You know, one of my buddies was listening to it and he was like, "Did you write this about me?" And I'm like, no. And he's like, "Well, there's this and this and this," and he starts kind of painting me a picture for things that have happened in his life and how it just all correlated. And I was like, damn, that's crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
it really wasn't intentional, but it's just cool how things happen like that.
For sure. Like, especially like writing, and you never know who it's going to reach in that way. You know, I'm sure there's some more people out there that'd be like, bro, this song's about me, man. Like, I knew he was like tapped into my head some way, you know?
For sure.
But I think music is so special, man, because it's like we got to be mindful of like whose hands it's in. You know, like you were telling me this story about, you know, how you was working on a lot of music back in the day, then your stuff got deleted, you know, and I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. I'm sure that was a very daunting thing as an artist to go through, and to have your music in the hands of somebody else, and then for something like that to happen, you know.
Yeah, I mean that was definitely a damper on the whole music thing, you know. Like I got pretty hung up in drugs back in the day, and I was you know, I was lost in it, but I still was lost in the music too. And one of my buddies growing up, like he had all my passwords to everything, and he shot videos for me and stuff, and he started getting out there too, and he started getting like insecure that I was leaving him, like when I met D-Ray and them up in Nashville.
Yeah.
And he thought I was going to leave him behind, and like that wasn't even the case at all. But he just he wiped all my stuff, deleted everything, and he was like, "It's my intellectual property." And I was just like, man, like we've been building for this, you know what I mean? Like I've got money in on the equipment, like I've literally paid you and stuff to do things for me, and you're going to do me like that. So it really kind of it slowed me down with the music, because I was like, man, like what am I doing all this for, just to be taken away? But it also taught me that you've got to really be careful with your creative side, you know what I mean? Like be careful who has control of it. And it also is just like a learning lesson that you need to be self-sufficient, you know. You need to be learning how to do things yourself, so stuff like that can't happen.
For sure.
Because I know, like drugs and music, I know you haven't ever really dealt with that, you know. Like,
yeah, like I smoke from now and then, you know. Speaking of that, I've lost my last job because over a joint that I didn't even smoke, but I feel like this is going to be another story for another topic. But yeah, like I smoke from now and then, and I never really got too deep off into it. Like I've done some like psychedelics in my past or whatnot, but nothing too crazy. But you know, like I know, like you said before, like, you know, people rely on these things at times.
I know. I mean, back in the day when I was really starting to play a lot of shows and stuff, like I quit my job at Westlake and I started playing music full time. I was like, I can do this. And I was playing like 5-6 shows a week and just running on fumes. I mean,
yeah, man, you used to record your ass. I mean, you used to play shows like every single way, bro.
I'd be, you know, finishing a show at Bowling Green or something and driving home, and I'd have to like sleep in a parking lot or something just so I could, you know, go to work the next morning. This was, I guess, technically before I quit work, but then when I actually did quit work, I was just kind of hung up in the drugs, hung up with the speed and stuff. And I remember like one show, me and my little brother, we went out of town to Marion, Illinois.
Shout out to Henny.
Shout out to Young Hinden. But we went out of town to Marion, and it was a place I'd never been before. I was working with a booking agent, and she had set the show up for me. And I mean, I had probably been up for, the last 48, 72 hours, no sleep. And
Yeah.
I went in there and played my show. Everything went good. And then, like, me and Henny were cruising home, and it's snowing, it's sleeting, icing, you know what I mean? Like, the roads are really bad, and I'm running on no sleep.
Yeah.
And I wake up to Hendrix, like, yelling, like, bro, what the fuck? And, like, I come to, and we're on the interstate cruising back to Paducah, but we're not on the interstate. We're, like, in the middle part where the grass is. And, like, I look down, and we're doing, like, 100+ miles an hour, and it's icy. It's just bad weather. And there's an underpass, like, a little bit ahead of us coming up fucking quick because we're rolling, and I've got the wheel cut all the way to the right, and we're, like, fucking sliding, and we just, like, barely slide out onto the interstate before we fucking smash the side of that underpass. And I was just like, man, like, it's just, I could have killed us both. And,
For
like,
sure.
that'd have been freaking, tragic, obviously. But it just, the music thing, it is, like, if you don't really watch who you create with and who you surround yourself with, a lot of musicians are tied up into drugs.
Yeah.
I mean, I know firsthand, just all the people that I've met and all the co-writes and stuff, like,
For sure.
it goes hand in hand.
Yeah, like going down to Nashville, like, bro, that's probably where you're gonna see it the most. Like you get into these sessions, and it's just something that's always there. Like if you enjoy fucking your cocaine or whatnot, or whatever you want to call it, it's like it's always accessible in the music world. It's like it's kind of tied up together. And I'm actually proud of you, because it's like you took a step back off on drugs, and the last few times I done smoked or whatnot, like, I'll ask Tay, like, hey, you want to smoke a joint with me or something? And he's like, nah, man, I'm good. Like, I'm done smoking weed. I mean, but that's all that I do. But, I like to offer, if it's around or whatnot. And I'm
It's
just
just
proud
too
of
good
you,
now.
man.
Too good now, bro.
Yeah, man. Man, I remember, like, one time, like, I'm not going to promote, like, people getting stoned out there or whatnot, but I gave Taylor a gummy, and we are trying to do this song, right?
God.
And it was the song that we were recording, and Taylor was just messing up every single time. And it was because I gave him a gummy, and, like, it was like a small gummy too, but it just goes to show you, like, how much your tolerance is way different now. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that was awful. Cause, like, usually that's my strong point. Like, getting
Yeah.
behind a mic and singing, that's where my comfort lies. And recording, like, it's not uncommon for me to record something and get it down in a take and, like, be extremely happy with it. And yeah, I wasn't going. It wasn't happening. I
Yeah.
recorded that thing like 50 times, and I was like, dude, this is why I don't do this. Like,
Right,
this shit
yeah.
is just too good. It's too
Yeah.
good for me now.
Yeah, and even back to, like, the story about whenever I lived in Princeton and you came out and you were just having a bad high after smoking a joint with us or something, and, like, you were just, like, not feeling it, and you're like, man, I just felt like the weight of the world was on my shoulders and stuff. And it's just like, man, it just goes to show that, like, things are good for a time being. Like, growing up, like, I remember, like, who I was with and I was smoking a joint with or something, and I was like, man, I remember that time, like, he invited me out and we smoked, like, to have the connections because of it or whatnot. But there is times where it's like, man, I really don't feel this, or if it's something I want to take a back seat on. And it's something that I commend you on, because, like, there's people out there that will be a pothead for the rest of their life and die on that hill. So, you know what I mean? So
I appreciate it, my brother.
For
I know
sure.
it's a good feeling not having to wake up and rely on something to get you moving and get you out of bed. And then
Yeah.
especially, like, all the shows I used to play and stuff, which I haven't been playing shows here lately. I've just been working so much and just making time for the music when I can and whatnot. But it's nice to not rely on something to get by, because
Yeah.
that's an awful place to be. Because if you don't have whatever it is you need, it's just like, you got no motivation.
Right.
You don't want to do it, and I will never trade that feeling. Like, it's a very bad place to be. So very thankful for growth and just growing up, you know what I mean? Seeing what's important in life and prioritizing and focusing on my responsibilities. And I just feel now I'm in a very good place.
For sure.
You know, and the music, it's like the music's going great. The podcast is something fresh and new. You know, we're still just getting up off the ground with this, but I feel really good with everything that's coming our way. You know?
Yeah, man. It's like who you are and what you put out there into the world, your intentions. Like, this is something that we talked about not that long ago. Is like the world is your mirror, you know, and this is something that Taylor just called me and we were just having a conversation about. Is like, you know, if you're happy, if you're a go-lucky type person, that's the type of energy that's going to come back to you. If you see the world as your mirror in whatever you're doing or however you're feeling, or, you know, it's like if you're in a sad mental state, like, you're going to attract that energy more often into your life. So it's like just something to be mindful, and I want to thank you for, you know, putting that idea into my head, you know what I mean?
It's definitely just a cool perspective. Like, I would forget where I seen it. I mean, I've seen it somewhere on the internet, but it was just talking about, like, look at the world as your reflection. You know, like, when you look in a mirror, like, you have to smile for that mirror to smile back at you. Like, it is dependent upon your happiness to be happy. And it was just saying, like, you know, in this life we have free will and we can make our own choices, but once you realize that, like, the universe is rooting for you to be the best version of yourself, to do exactly what you're meant to do. And you just, like, repetition, continuously doing something. And that's what's cool about this podcast, and, like, us getting on a flow with putting out music and doing reels, and, you know, kind of getting synced up across the board. Like, it's just going to keep bringing people in that are supposed to be around us, that can help push us and can help elevate us, you know?
Yeah, and I feel like that goes back into, like, the law of attraction too.
Yeah,
you
for
know?
sure.
It's like whatever you put out there, like, the world's going to give it back to you tenfold. And it helps me out with my motivation, like seeing this podcast and me doing the beats and seeing Taylor write this music with Caleb and stuff. And shout out Caleb. He's going to be a guest here in the next few weeks, something that they talked about and whenever they had their writing session. And we're super excited to have you on, Caleb. We love you. You know?
Excited to kind of get you guys familiar with him, because Caleb's just a really down-to-earth guy. You know, like I said in episode 1, he's kind of our main reason that really pushed us into getting this podcast up and off the ground. And he's just a great songwriter. And, like, you know, I was talking to him today, he's about to be moving out to Nashville to really truly pursue songwriting and stuff.
Congratulations, bro. That's a big step, you know.
It's amazing. And we'll touch more and, you know, tap in on that when we have him on the episode. But really looking forward to that. Just a really good, genuine guy. So
yeah, super excited to have him on. You know, like, I feel like I'm already thinking of questions to ask him and how he got started and stuff like that. But that'd be something that we have for a few more later episodes whenever he comes on. And Flash is still coming on in July. We are excited to have you, Flash. Hopefully you got some questions for us, and to really break down his beginnings and stuff like that. It's like, man, it's such a cool idea to have a podcast and to bring your friends on that mean a lot to you and actually break down their stories and give them a platform. You know what I mean?
For sure. I know something I came across this week or whatever. Post Malone and Morgan Wallen, they just recently released a song.
Yeah.
I had a little help or something like that. I can't think of the name of it, but I really like that, because me as, like, an artist, I've always had more of a country tone, more of a country voice, and people want to just, like, subcategorize me and be like, oh, you make country music, and I'm like, I mean, I do, but I pretty much
right.
make, like, anything but country music.
Yeah.
But it's cool that stuff like that is, like, starting to become mainstream, because people are getting more familiar with hearing the different genres blended, because that's kind of always been my aim, like, in music, is having more of a abstract sound, you know. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah, for sure. Like, especially for the mainstream to pick it up, like, your type of sound, I feel like we're not that far off. I mean because it's like, now we have music that caters to that type of genre, like the blending of sounds and stuff. Like, I would say that my sound is more of, like, hip hop, kind of clubby in a way. I do, like, R&B, I do pop, but, like, blending the sound with the acoustics and stuff, that, like, which Taylor does. I think there's definitely a lane out there, and definitely something that people are getting more familiar with. And I'm gonna say this again, I fucking love Post Malone, bro.
Man.
And everything that Post Malone does, like I remember, like I became a fan of him here, and I think it was White Iverson. White Iverson was probably one of my favorite songs, and I used to play it on repeat. So now to see him to do songs with like Morgan Wallen and to step out there, and he did a song with Taylor Swift not that long ago and stuff, and
He's got that song with Ozzy too. I can't think
Yeah.
of it. Take what you want from me.
take what you want.
Dude,
from
that
me.
song is fucking badass. I was like, Ozzy's still getting it. You know, I think he's
Yeah.
like in his 70s, maybe early 80s. I don't know. He's on up there, but like, dude's still a beast with it. Like,
Yeah, and I could see that being us one day, you know, like the music runs through our soul, you know, so like I could see myself being set like 70 and being like the age of like that and just actually still doing it and writing and making beats and stuff. Like it's very inspiring to see Ozzy Osbourne still out there doing songs with Post Malone and you know actually putting himself out there like that, you know.
I can just picture you, bro. You'd be making the hot beats, and they're like, "Yo, bro, check out this beat Grandpa Pro made." It's just like fucking banging.
Right, for sure.
Man,
Man, but that's just how I see things. Like this music is going to be something I do until the day that I die, you know.
it's a part of us for sure.
And then even after I die, my music will still be released, you know. So it's like,
It's like that's the goal, you know. I mean, we're navigating our way down the path to figuring out how to let the music provide for us full time. So don't have to get up and go do the 9 to 5. You know what I mean? And it's like I don't mind nothing with hard work. I'll get out there. I mean, I work hard every week,
for sure you do.
I want to spend my time doing what I love because I know that I have way more possibility of helping people. You know, just writing songs on stuff that I've been through that really mean a lot to me, that helped me through a hard time, and like sharing that gift with somebody, because that's what music's always been for me. Like music has always been there for me, and I want to give that back to people, and I know that that's the way I could truly help people on a grand scale.
For sure. Yeah, and to do what you want, you know, like the dream building aspect, and you know, to set yourself up like you're doing what you love to help somebody else to, you know, do what they love too. And it's like, man, I know you got good intentions in this, and all the music that you create, it's very helpful to somebody that's going through it on a mental aspect. Like in mental health in this day and age is so important because like we have to be the mentors and the role models of these people out here, because it's so easy for kids to be influenced by things that aren't good for them and promote this, that, and the third, and we just do it our way and find out better ways and how to influence people. And I think that's something to be very mindful of as an artist, you know what I mean?
For sure. I mean, you know, the youth, I mean, that's our future, and music is modern day magic. You know what I mean? It's like you write these things, and if they pick up and you're singing along with them, you're chanting them, you know what I mean? It becomes almost like a spell in your life.
Yeah.
And depending on whether it's positive or negative can really affect like how your life goes, you know. Right. So we're always very cautious of like what we write and put out. I mean, I know I've got a lot of music that I've written over the years that like will never see the light of day, because it's just, you know, it was going through a stage, it was getting better at my craft, but it serves no purpose to, you know, anyone, so it'll just stay locked away in the folder.
Right, yeah. And I think it's like you can do the genres you like if you're into like hard trap or like whatever, like R&B and any type of genre, you can do that certain genre, you know. It's just the things that you put into your music, and think about the influence that you're having on these kids out here that are in high school or in like middle school or something, you know. Like I want to make music that can influence people in a good way, or at least make them think about their life, or if it's a love song, make them think about the person that they're with, or like how they're good for them, how they're bad for them. But it's very important to me about the image that you're putting out there as an artist, and it's something that I'm always mindful of. So definitely on like the next album that I plan on dropping, it's going to be very thought-provoking ideas, you know. That's something that I do want to put out there.
For sure. Just promoting good vibes. That's what we're all about.
For sure. We are the Good Vibe Tribe, you know. And it's like we have a collection of people that are kind of on our same like wavelength and us starting the Good Vibe Tribe. It's like I'm so proud of the group that we have. I want to talk about Mitch for a second. Mitch came over here and he did some more of his poems, and he's really stepping into it. He's really finding his voice. You know, we was talking about this comedian voice that he has, and it's like yippee, you know, and I fucking love it because like I love to see Mitch stepping into his path. And I know that poetry means a lot to him. I could tell by the words and how he says it and stuff. And I just want to give Mitch a shout out because it's like he's been making an effort into coming over here.
Yeah.
And I'm always down to record him, you know.
It's a beautiful thing because Mitchell's he's a poet, you know. He's a great writer, and he writes about deep intellectual things that get you thinking, you know. Like you might have to grab a dictionary, look up some of the words. Like he's great with words, and just seeing him come over here and kind of step out of his element and start recording some of this stuff and like watching it all come to life. And I'm just like listening to him, and I'm like, bro, like play with your voice, like just you know, experiment. Like if it's a angry song, like make it angry. If it's a sad song, make it sad. And I was like, just play with it. And he come up with this voice. It's just like, it's so catchy. I was like, bro, it's gonna catch on, and like people are gonna enjoy listening to it. And you know, like within listening, they're gonna receive a lot of wisdom and knowledge because that's all he shares. So definitely shout out to Mitchie. I'm excited for him to get some more stuff together and get a project together. So we'll be having him on an episode here soon, and you guys get the Mitchell experience. So
for sure, yeah, like him coming up with ideas that he has for like the poems and stuff. Like I just think it's so cool because it's like he well, I'm not gonna like give his ideas out there, but I do want to say like I really appreciate him like sharing those ideas with us and actually put it into fruition. Like we have all the tools at hand to make it happen. And me as a producer, like I honestly like making like meditation type music in a way, and I think that that'd be a good background for his poems and stuff. And I always think that that was cool that he enjoys doing it over that type of sound, because that is something that I want to like push myself into, is like meditation type music, because like this is what I do whenever I'm here at my computer and I'm playing a sound over and over. Like it's very soothing to me. Like I'm just like basking in it, you know what I mean?
For sure. This kind of makes me think, like, you know, me and Pro had an idea a while back about making kind of like a meditation type album, kind of based towards the chakras and the different frequencies. So we kind of brought that back up earlier today, and that'll be something we'll be working on.
Yeah. And I think it's cool because I know that you know how to play the keyboard, and I know how to add all the sound effects, and I can tune it to 432 or whatever like frequency it is. And I don't think it'd be that hard to do, to be honest with you.
No,
you know?
It'd be cool. That's what I was telling him. I was like, man, when we're kind of in our morning routine of waking up and meditating and stuff, like it'd be cool to just have the soothing sounds that we're meditating with actually be produced by us. So
yeah, man,
something to look forward to.
For sure. Yeah, man, like I'm just so excited about everything that's going on. Like I've had a fucking phenomenal week. Like I'm super proud of everything that you're doing, everything that I'm doing. And I just want to say, man, like I'm just super proud of like both of us. Like I'm proud of myself for actually doing what I set out to do, like put out this beat tape and then actually get some feedback and people actually listening to it, and you getting these songs tracked and having like you go over there with Caleb and he's recording the guitar to him and stuff. It's like we're really pushing towards it, and I think that we're finally at a point now where we're stepping in, you know. And it's like we can talk about it all day long, you know, like I want to do this, I want to do that, but it's like us now, it's like, man, there's no turning back now. Like there's no turning back on what we want to do, because like we're now fully genuinely stepping into everything, like the podcast and just so many realms of things. And it's like I just want to say, man, I'm just proud of you, bro.
Proud of you, my brother. It is a great feeling, just a feeling of accomplishment, you know, just being proud of yourself, because it's easy to have an idea and to talk about it. Like that's the easy part. I've done that shit for years.
For sure.
But to actually start putting in the groundwork and putting the action with the thought, you know, that's what truly brings things to reality. And I am excited. We've got a lot of things in the works, and just got a lot of great people that we're working with, and just I know that life's going to continue to bring things our way. And so once again, if you guys have any music you'd like for us to review or anything, be sure to send it in to us, and we'll check it out, give you some honest feedback and criticism, because I know as an artist, like, a lot of artists are not the best at taking criticism. But if you truly want to grow as an artist, you have got to get good at taking criticism, because incorporating somebody else's opinion into your stuff is what can truly make masterpieces.
Yeah.
And you don't have to necessarily take the criticism, but it's always good to listen to it and at least notice it. And sometimes it will alter your art, and it's in a beautiful way. So
yeah, like I know for me, like me getting my music like criticized by you, and it's not even like hard like criticism. It's like what you can come up with, what you think that it'll make it sound better. And for me, that's something that I take in, like, well, he's not hating on me. Like, he's not saying it's fucking trash or I should fucking throw the song away. Yeah, this is ass. It's not something that, like, I should just throw the song away. Like, it's something that really he knows from himself. Like, hey, this has helped me in a songwriting process, or maybe you should say it like this or say it like that. And to me, it's like I take all those things into account whenever, like, I'm actually showing him and stuff. Like, all right, well, maybe I do need to go back into a song. And there was a few songs like that where I'm showing Taylor, and I think it was like Wake Up, the verse, like the Wake Up verse or something like that. You just like told me like, hey, say it like this or something, or kind of like squeeze that in there or whatnot. And it's always something I go back into, and I'm like, damn, he's fucking right again.
Just connecting the dots. I know as like an outside listener, like if things aren't connecting or there's like a gap, I'm not making the connection between lines or something, like that's something that's important to me. And I know it leads to growth, you know what I mean? So if you are an artist, like, be open to criticism. And I'm not saying you have to, take it with a grain of salt, but like,
but it's important.
Listen to what people have to say. And because like that's the thing with music. It's easy to find a yes man. Yeah. It's easy to let your friend hear it, your mom hear it, your Uncle Dave hear it, whoever, and they're like, oh yeah, I really like this one. This one's really good. Every song. Like I've got so many people like that, and I'm like, appreciate it, man. I appreciate it, but like I've got a handful of people that I send music to, and they paint a picture for me. They're like, well, this didn't make sense, or I'm not connecting the dots here, or yada yada yada. But it's very important to find your people that aren't yes men and will shoot it to you straight, because that's truly how we grow.
For sure. Yeah, and I know in this podcast I was talking about Nonzo and how I started off with him and how he used to come over to my mom's house, and just the beginning phases of us just not knowing how to do it, then finding out how to do it. And Sam was in that picture also, but like Nonzo was one of the people that would come over there with me and just every single day just work on something with me. And he was used to freestyling and stuff, and it was something that I picked up on. And I was just wondering if there was like somebody that you started off with, or somebody that you bounced ideas off of, whenever you were just starting off, and just to have that support and just somebody, just to lean on whenever, you're just starting off with it. I was just curious to know if there's somebody out there that was like that for you.
I mean, I had all my friends and stuff back in the day that I grew up with, like Michael and Ryan and James and stuff, that like we'd play and stuff. And like I remember a specific moment in time, like me and Ryan were like, I think it was like an Eagles song or something. I can't be sure, but I remember like we're playing along and we're just learning on our guitars, and like we're across the room looking at each other, and like we both changed like chords at the same time, and it was like in sync, and we were like we were so excited. We were like, bro, we were like connecting through our minds. I remember like going in there and telling his mom that we like, we were talking like telepathy or whatever, and man. It's just, that's cool. But somebody that really inspired me a lot, one of my exes, Cindy, her little brother Caesar, he's younger than me, but I haven't seen him in years, but he was amazing, and just amazing musician. Just had it, truly had it. And any instrument, any writing, anything, like he's just a genius with it. And I remember for the longest I'd be wanting to sing and stuff, and I'd be singing, and he was never like happy with it. And then I remember one day I like sang something. He was like, "That's it." I was like, "What?" He's like, "How you're singing right now. Keep doing that." And I would like, I kept on singing, and like it's just funny because I listen to like our old stuff, and I was so nasally, and I'm like so like just turned off by it. I'm like, God, that was me. But it's just like it's a stage of life, you know what I mean? I was learning, never had any formal training or anything, so it's just kind of, it's how it goes. But
Yeah, for sure. Especially like starting off because you don't know, but it's just like you're learning along the way. And I was just thinking over here about choices, like how choices in your life are so important. If he would have never took that sentiment and tell you about it, like, hey, sing it just like that, like, I wonder if you would have still been the artist today. It's like the butterfly effect of things. Like, choices line up with certain choices in your life, and they lead to other choices in your life that in a grand scheme is like who you are today. And like that's how I see the world in a way. And I'm just proud of that, all the choices that we made in our lives, and actually for us to be here and to do what we love. Like, choices are so important.
for sure, so choose wisely.
Choose wisely. But anyways, I want to say happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there again. We couldn't do it without y'all and the people to influence our lives in a great way, and the father figures, some stepdads out there, like, to show love to y'all too. And I want to say about my stepdad, like, my biological dad, he passed away when I was 9, and he stepped in, and he really showed me how to be a man, like, growing up, and the values of life. And we can talk about loss in another episode or whatnot, and that's something that I'm looking forward to. Like, I've had to deal with a lot of loss in my life, but I want to give a big shout out to my stepdad. He was always there for me whenever I needed advice or about this, that, and the third. And we always talked about sports, and this is the reason why I'm big into sports. And I can just think back to, like, I pick up certain things from him and how much I appreciate him as a father and as a stepdad in my life. It was like so important to me that, like, even though that I wasn't like biologically his, he still loved me as his own. So I want to give a big shout out to all the stepdads out there and all the dads out there.
For sure. Yeah, just a big happy Father's Day to you guys, because I know it gets rough. I mean, I deal with it a lot, just running on fumes and having to get up and go do hard manual labor. Like, I know what you're going through, and
Yeah.
sometimes you don't feel appreciated or respected, and it's like you got to keep on moving. You got to keep things trucking along, because you got people that rely on you and people that need you. So just know, even if you feel like you're being overlooked or you don't feel appreciated, like, you're doing exactly what you're supposed to do. And those kiddos, they're looking up to you, and they're proud of you. They appreciate you more than you'll ever know. And you're just setting the tone for the rest of their life to kind of men and kind of women that they need to be as they mature and as they grow through life. So
Yeah.
just keep steadfast and keep on the path. And happy Father's Day to you guys.
For sure. And that makes me think that a big thing that one thing that my stepfather taught me was sacrifice. You got to sacrifice, like going out there and working midnight hours of the day, and like you sleeping throughout the day to provide for your family. Like, this was something that really meant a lot to me growing up, is that he sacrificed a lot of his time, his energy for, his family. And I think that's the awesome thing about dads out there, and to see that in other people. I want to give a big shout out to all the dads and support a good father today.
And happy Father's Day to all the mothers out there playing both
Yeah,
roles.
right.
I know there's a lot of y'all out there, and I know it gets hard, but just keep your head up. We see you. You're doing a great job, and those kids, they need you. So happy Father's Day to y'all too.
For sure. And this is a wrap on episode 3.
Episode 3 in the books with the Good Vibe Tribe.
For sure. We hope you liked it. We are excited to have y'all on the next one, to see the support, the people that's adding the Facebook page and stuff. It's so exciting, man. And I love y'all. I'm going to say it every single episode. I love y'all to death, man, for supporting us and everything that we're doing. So
Much love, and you guys just be sure to share it with your friends if anything resonates, and comment and interact with us. You know, like we said, we're out on Spotify now, so if that's a better listening platform for you on your commute to work or whatever, like, just tap in with us, and we will be back next week.
For sure. Good Vibe Tribe out.
Good Vibe Tribe out.
Peace.
Yippee!